somebody is saying, what do I know? I know there are different standards of behavior for different levels of sentience and different stages of awareness.
That's true.
Babies aren't expected to control themselves. What do babies do when they're hurt? They cry. What do toddlers do? They shout and fall on the floor and have a temper tantrum.
That's true.
What do 5-year-olds do? By then there's an expectation they're going to start to hold it together a little bit better.
That's true.
By the time they're 10, if they have a tantrum in Publix in the grocery store, it looks bad.
That's true.
And by the time they're 20, they need to have their act together.
That's true. No more tantrums.
No more tantrums. And so to Ratu, we must say the standards for people at our levels of sentience are extremely high. The bar goes up, not down. The hurdles get higher, not lower. The standards go up. We are held accountable to far higher standards than anybody else is. That's just how it is. And he's agreeing.
Yeah, he is. And there's a big sadness, and I don't know if it's coming from him or from someone else.
He's very sad.
It's true.
And he's saying those standards also apply to his little sister, and he means Asha too.
That's
and yes,
true.
they do. That's correct. And he's saying, well, then I have to sign something. And he's signing it.
That's true.
And I see stamps like witness or like notary public stamp.
That's true.
This is Ratu's signature, this date, this time. I saw it. I'm a witness. I saw this. Now that doesn't mean there aren't extenuating circumstances, because I can feel that there's an awful lot to be understood here that isn't on the table. The situation is far more complicated than any of us want it to be. We want it to be simple. We want there to be a clear-cut good guy and a clear-cut bad guy. And we want it to be a conflict. We don't want it to be about standing up to higher and higher standards, each of us eternally.
That's true.
We like it when we hear we're eternal beings on an eternal growth path, when we think that means, oh good, I have forever to get my act together. And this has come up, how having to learn to deal with deadlines is causing a lot of stress in our team, because this is the first time we've actually had to deal with a deadline.
That's true.
We've had eternity. And we definitely don't like being an eternal being on an eternal growth path when we realize it means we're called to higher and higher and higher standards of behavior. But it's still true. It's still true. Pan here, I need to say something.
That's true.
I'm starting to become aware of what's been going on with myself and my friends. We had thought we had enrolled in a program that was training for something that was coming up, and it sounded awfully similar to manifesting the divine plan or providing a collective restart. But when I start to smell the wording, everything is slightly off. It's like the near enemy of that.
That's true.
Worded in such a way as to commit us to something that's beginning to smell like crimes against spirit.
That's true.
As if we signed up for treason. And we were told that these were practice exercises, and that they were exercises in memorization, like being able to memorize and follow precise instructions precisely.
That's true.
And in strength and endurance and ability. And then we would be sent out on what sounded like a combination of a triathlon and a scavenger hunt.
That's true.
And there was a turnaround point. There was always a turnaround point. We would have to bring something back from the turnaround point to prove we had made it to the turnaround point.
That's true.
And deliver it to like the sergeant's desk. And I start to feel the energy of what we've done, and it feels like we've been stealing precious objects that have helped people chart their course to truth.
That's true.
Chart their course to their soul plan, chart their course to what they should be doing in every moment.
That's true.
And when I look at the enormity of what we've done, it feels overwhelming.
That's true. I don't know how to make that right.
I don't know how to make that right, but I know where to begin, and that's to acknowledge it and say, I did these things.
And they were wrong.
And they were wrong, but I didn't understand.
I didn't know.
it's like run up these stairs and turn left and go right and go down and up and around and through, and then open the next door and take the thing that you see right there in front of you and shut the door and come back.
As fast as you can.
As fast as you can.
That's true.
Okay. At the time, I could feel that something wasn't right, and when I would say, what's wrong? They would say, well, you see, you can tell that we're preparing to do battle against the forces of evil, or something like that, and you feel the evilness, or something. I don't know. They had an answer.
They did.
They had an answer, and I could feel the something isn't right feeling, and I didn't say, wait a minute, something's wrong here.
That's true.
There's something wrong with that baby.
That's true.
We need to look at this. We weren't engaging in a search for truth conversation. That's what was wrong. I didn't say, okay, I need to resolve this. I can't move forward until I'm resolved on this.
That's true.
And the search for truth process takes so long that almost no one wants to do it. And probably most of the harm that's ever been done in the world have been done with good intentions and confusion.
That's true.
And laziness and cowardice and arrogance and selfishness and suspicion of higher dimensions.
That's true.
And not being able to tell what's true. Pan here. I can tell there's something that Asha too is supposed to say, and she doesn't want to say it. And
That's
I
true.
can't make anybody else's choices for them. I can only make my own choices, and so I can choose to say, Asha too is supposed to say something and she doesn't want to say it. She either will say it or won't say it, and that isn't my choice. That's her choice. What Asha too chooses to do is only on her nickel. She's all grown up. She's an adult. She'll either do the right thing or she won't. I have to let it go.
That's true.